This has Oiler fans buzzing as we get set for the 2025 Western Conference Final between the Dallas Stars and the Edmonton Oilers, with the Oilers still on that roll, the 8-1 roll against the LA Kings and the Vegas Golden Knights as they head into Dallas, Texas for Game 1 of the conference final. All that more today on Oilers Digest, all the stats, all the analysis, and all the breakdown. But first, 82% of you have not yet subscribed to the channel. Folks, what's stopping you? Hit that button down below for any and all Oiler content, whether it be the playoffs, the draft, or the offseason, whatever it is. Oilers Digest has you covered. Now, without further ado, folks, it's the big boxing match, the Oilers and the Stars, and we hit you with the tale of the tape between these two teams and how exactly they match up against each other. No shortage of revenge for either team. The Oilers trying to get back to the Stanley Cup final and avenge their loss from last year. Meanwhile, the Stars are trying to avenge their loss from last year, also against the Edmonton Oilers there. So both teams, again, lots of storylines there. Oilers Stars in Dallas tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Mountain there on Hockey Night in Canada from coast to coast there. When it comes to the Oilers, starting on the road yet again, Draisaitl says, don't worry about it. He says, you got to try to find a way to win one game and go from there. We'll start with game one and try to come out with a win on top there. So that is a man with a clear-cut focus on where he needs to be. Meanwhile, the Oilers and Stars, very, very even when it comes to evolving hockey in their fan survey there. The Oilers just taking just the teeniest bit of edge over the Stars there, 50.4%, comparing that to the Dallas Stars, 49.6 there. Meanwhile, the Oilers and Stars there, people are taking the Dallas Stars in 7 or the Oilers in 6 there. So if it goes the distance, many are expecting the Stars to take this 1 in 7, but they think the Oilers can get this done a lot faster there. When it comes to just comparing these two teams, we showed this yesterday, but again, very, very relevant to the topic at hand here between the Oilers and Stars during the Stanley Cup playoffs, where exactly they rank in all of the intangibles, all the analytics here. With, of course, for goals for percentage, expected goals for percentage, save percentage, and shooting percentage there. The Oilers in 6th, and meanwhile Dallas is 11th, Edmonton 4th, and Dallas 10th in goals for percentage there. So the Oilers, again, putting all of the pucks on net there. Meanwhile, in the early part of the playoffs, they couldn't get the saves, but now Stuart Skinner back-to-back shutouts there, and then Jake Ollinger on the other side there, that brick wall between the pipes there, and then shooting percentage. The Oilers 6th, and the Dallas Stars 9th there. So not all of the goals, but both teams are shooting rather well there, and special teams could be a very, very big storyline heading into this one. And during this one, the Oilers going 14 for 14 last year in the Western Conference Final against the Dallas Stars with a record-setting, a history-making penalty kill, but I don't think we'll get anything close to that this year, even though the penalty kill did improve game by game against the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Oilers 6th and 14th in the power play percentage and penalty kill percentage. Meanwhile, the Dallas Stars are one of the best teams in the NHL during these playoffs on the special teams, ranking both 3rd in power play percentage and penalty kill percentage there. And the Dallas Stars, of course, getting Jason Robertson back and Miro Heiskanen back, so that just makes that team a lot more deadly to face. And the goals for per game, the Oilers 2nd with 3.91. Meanwhile, the Dallas Stars, they are 11th there. They were shut out twice in that Winnipeg series there, so it's either they're getting all the offense or nothing at all there. And then goals against per game, Jake Ollinger in that top pair of Harley and Heiskanen, leading the Dallas Stars to 4th with 2.92 goals against per game there. Meanwhile, of course, the Oilers getting disrespected by the national media, saying they can't play defense, can't do this, can't do that. But Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, trying to prove everybody wrong that, hey, yes, we can play defense. I don't know why we're harping on this for much longer than we need to be doing. And not just special teams, of course, 5-on-5. Both teams, very similar, but again, could be the difference maker. Dallas has been outscored 38-34 overall. Big losses have led to a negative goal differential. I do believe they gave up 7 to the Colorado Avalanche in the first round there, and then 22-20 at 5-on-5. Meanwhile, Edmonton outscoring teams 43-34 and 30-20 at 5-on-5. Just taking a look at the Oilers lines from yesterday's skate there, it looks like they will be the same from Game 5 against the Vegas Golden Knights heading into Game 1 against the Dallas Stars. Still without Mattias Ekholm, but Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Connor McDavid with Zach Hyman round out that first line with the shutdown line with Podkolzin, Draisaitl in captain, and we all saw the work they did against Jack Eichel, and hopefully they can do the same against Mikko Rantanen, and then the bottom six. I mean, what a fantastic four lines these Oilers are rolling out. They can roll out anything, and they will get the job done with Evander Kane, Adam Henrique in Connor Brown, and Trent Frederick, Matisse Janmark in Corey Perry there, with Trent Frederick getting better and better by the game. Still on one ankle, but I mean, he can do most things on one ankle than I can do on two. So it just goes to show the kind of player that he is, with Victor Arvidsson, Jeff Skinner, Derek Ryan, and Max Jones making out your extra forwards there. On the back end, of course, like I said, no Matthias Ekholm. We should expect him to see him later on in the series, but so far we have Brett Kulak and Evan Bouchard, Darnell Nurse and Troy Stetcher, and then Jake Wallman in John Klingberg there, with Stuart Skinner and Olivier Rodrigue being your two netminders for the series. As Cal Pickard still out day to day, I do believe, or week to week. It's either one of the two, with a lower body injury there. And when you talk about Jake Wallman, I mean, the guy has just been a tremendous positive to this team. One of the best trade deadline deals of this year there. It seems to be, no matter who's on the ice with him, they seem to be outscoring their opponents, except for, a guy like Nugent-Hopkins, but, break even at 0 there. But just the kind of guy that Jake Wallman is, both off and on the ice. He's been a huge boost to this Oilers team that desperately needed another puck-moving defenseman. And then you have the main man himself, Stuart Skinner. Last year in the 2024 Western Conference Final against the Dallas Stars, that was almost his coming out party. In on the big stage there against the Stars in Game 6, we all saw him steal this one for the Oilers. But last year, went 4-2 with a 1.91 goals against average and a 922 save percentage. And we all know, coming off the back-to-back shutouts versus the Vegas Golden Knights, which will do a huge boost to his confidence. But unfortunately, still the fourth worst goalie in the playoffs when it comes to goals saved above expected there. So hopefully he can throw that behind him and focus on the now, which the Oilers will need there. You complain about, the LA series or the Vegas series, 0.4 left against Riley Smith. But, of course, it's just all about the now. And Stuart Skinner seems to be a very even-keeled goaltender there, and just focusing on what is ahead of him there. But when it comes to the high-danger shots against the Oilers, one of the best defensive teams in the playoffs so far. They are the best out of the four remaining teams when it comes to high-danger shots against, or giving up high-danger shots against, with 16. Meanwhile, the Dallas Stars gave up 29. You can see Florida with 18, and then number one is Carolina with 32. So, the whole, saying about Carolina, one of the best, shutdown teams in the NHL, still giving up the most high-danger shots against, just goes to show the parallel between the Oilers and the Carolina Hurricanes. But we're not worrying about the Carolina Hurricanes. We're worrying about the Dallas Stars there, and it just comes to show that the Oilers, if they can limit the rush offense like they did against the Vegas Golden Knights, they will be on their way to the Stanley Cup final there. And not just that, but the Oilers peppering the two teams that they faced so far in the Stanley Cup playoffs, being first in the playoff teams, all 16 playoff teams, for shots on goal for 290. Meanwhile, not giving up as many compared to Dallas, with 226, comparing that to Dallas's 308 there. So the Oilers will have to keep that balance once again for the third round. But like I said, the Oilers and Stars both have, revenge on their mind for completely different reasons. But again, revenge, is the best fuel for these teams in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And just taking a look at the Dallas Stars lineup, not so much a projected lineup, but what we could potentially see for Game 1 there, is the Stars are either rolling 11-7 or 12-6. But with, Miro Heiskanen's health, could be seeing 12-6. But we have Mikael Granlund, Rupe Hintz, and Mikko Rantanen. The two guys you have to keep an eye out for the most are Hintz and Rantanen there, with Jamie Benn, Matt Duchene, and Tyler Seguin, Jason Robertson, and Y. Johnson, and of course has Ilya Lyubushkin in that third line right wing spot, but he's a defenseman. Daily faceoff doesn't account for 11-7. Could see a guy like Colin Blackwell or Oscar Back inserted into the forward tier for the Dallas Stars. And then Mason Marchment, Sam Steele, and Evgeny Dononov round out the forwards for these Dallas Stars. And on the back end here, Thomas Harley and Miro Heiskanen. The Oilers have the deepest D-core, but the Stars have the two top guys in the series, or the top deep pair, I should say. And then Esa Lindell and Cody Ceci, former Oiler. And then Leon Bichel and Alex Petrovic round out the Dallas Stars. There are not really a whole lot of puck movers beyond Harley and Heiskanen. And there's something that the Oilers could hopefully pounce on in this series. There you can see the advanced analytics there. Cody Ceci and Esa Lindell outshot when they're both on the ice and outscored. So the Oilers will have to keep an eye on that pairing there, but not just that pairing. For all the good reasons, but for all the wrong reasons, got to keep an eye on Heiskanen and Harley. They're two dynamic defensemen, and they can make you pay when they're on the ice. Miro Heiskanen, of course, coming back from his injury, but in Game 6 against the Winnipeg Jets, he looked dynamite and looks to just keep getting better and better ever since he returned from the injury that he suffered way back earlier in the year from Mark Stone of the Vegas Golden Knights. But these Oilers, they recognize what they're coming up against, ever since, the deep pairings in the Vegas Golden Knights, the big, tough, strong Vegas Golden Knights defensemen. I think they are well built to take on this Dallas Stars D core. Not just their D core, but also their forwards and defensemen. Not a whole lot of scoring coming outside of Rantanen and Hintz there on the forward side, I should say. Thomas Harley putting up a very respectable 11 points in 13 games as a defenseman. But other than that, not a whole lot of confidence stemming from this Dallas Stars group there. So the Oilers pretty much just have to shut down Rantanen and Hintz, and they could also be on their way to a victory there. But Mikko Rantanen, he's been one of the best players in the playoffs so far, pretty much the front runner, the go-to, the number one for Conn Smythe Trophy voting there. And you can see all of the NHL edge stats there that he's leading or nearly leading there when it comes to high danger goals, high danger shots on goal, mid-range goals, mid-range shots on goal, and an even total skating distance and even strength skating distance. So he's all over the place, and when you don't expect it, he will strike, and the Oilers will have to keep an eye on that. Everyone is buzzing. McDavid in Draisaitl versus Rantanen, Heiskanen, and Harley. There are lots of storylines, but most importantly, the Oilers have to keep an eye on a guy like Jake Oettinger, third in playoff goaltending for goals saved of above expected there, and he's been on a fantastic 4-game run against these Winnipeg Jets in the second round with a .957, a .912, a .969, and a .923 there. So 4 fantastic starts in a row for Jake Oettinger. He got a .912 even in a loss to the Winnipeg Jets, but that's not his fault. The Stars were shut out, but the Oilers will have to find a way to get to Jake Oettinger very fast and very often there, like they did with Adin Hill, and they got in Adin Hill's breadbasket very quickly, and Adin Hill let that seep into his game. So hopefully they can do the same with Jake Oettinger. But like I said, everyone should be buzzing. I'm buzzing. Hopefully you're buzzing. Oil Country is buzzing. Even all the Dallas Stars fans that I've seen, a very respectable group. I can commend them. Fantastic fan base down in Texas there. They're buzzing for this one. They're hoping for revenge. The Oilers are hoping to get over this hump yet again back into the Stanley Cup final there. So again, should be a very exciting one. I have the Oilers in 6. Even with my bias glasses off, there's just no way you can stop this Oiler team with all 4 lines running, and even all 3 D pairs, I should say, running. And they still do not have Mattias Ekholm. So, of course, the main storyline here is Oettinger versus Skinner. Which goalie can outduel the other? Lots of exciting hockey, folks. So let's go Oilers. The third round for the third time in 4 years. Back in the early 2010s, we didn't get traded to this as well. The only time we got excited for hockey in April or May was the draft lottery. But, folks, here we are. It is a much different time. And let's go Oilers. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, folks. Take care. Have a great rest of the day. I'm Matt.